As men are becoming more exposed to polygamy, you have to understand that you cannot desire modern women to not possess you, meaning they are poly and you possess women. So that's you saying, this is my mate and they are off limits. That mentality, you have to change that in yourself, not possessing your potential wives, and in that way, that is how you can attract poly women. The mission is community and spiritual evolution for each individual in the polygamous marriage. The mission is not getting multiple wives. I posted a video, Polygamy is for Women's Freedom, and this was after 1 year of me posting polygyny content on the mindset that women need to have coming into this, and sisterhood and sharing husbands, and for the upliftment of men in a community. I even had specific videos dedicated to Black men saying how you are worthy of this kind of dynamic. When I posted this video, however, a lot was exposed out of this, right? So I want to make sure that this is clear in saying all of this information is for men who want to be a part of the Maji sister wife tribe and live our life system. There's many different communities out there. There is religious forms of polygyny and polygamy. We do not practice an orthodox form of polygamy in our tribe. We practice polyamory. All of these are under the umbrella of polygamy. Okay, so our education is still centered on the various forms of the polyamory dynamic, which does involve polygyny, polygamy, and so forth. So when I posted this video, I'm explaining, and I put in a disclaimer that this is for men in my tribe only. We practice a spiritual form of polygamy. I went through a 7-year initiation to learn a spiritual life system, and this is my actual life purpose, what I'm doing in front of you right now, right? Before, I was going a completely different route. I was going to be a medical doctor. And then after I got my degree in biology, I graduated there, and then I started my initiations. Okay? So in the video, I made sure I specify for a man in my tribe to be worthy of having multiple wives, or what you may consider polygyny, right? If you Google that, you're just Googling that, right? That basic definition that they put there, which has discrepancies in and of itself, because it's a modern new language trying to understand indigenous family structures. When I posted this video, I was explaining how men in my tribe are worthy of having more than one wife if they do not possess their wives. That is actually a natural law. It's based on cause and effect. So the concept that I mentioned earlier on not possessing your wives, that's how you get your wives to not possess you, because you don't possess them. It's cause and effect. So this is the spiritual evolution part that is in spiritual polygamy that we practice in our tribe. So the result of this video was that men focused a lot on the juvenile carnal sex part, which I did do a part 2 explaining higher forms of intimacy a woman could have outside of just being physically penetrated. Because that's ultimately where my mind goes, of course. But of course, I live a completely different life system, and our life system is completely different than someone who wants to live a Western individualistic lifestyle. If you were a man born in America, by default, you were born in that type of ideology and thinking. So that means that if you watch something like that, you're observing this from the eyes of a Western individualistic consumer rather than someone who actually practice a spiritual system and have gone through initiation for years to have a completely different outlook on family and sex, right? So this is what we have to talk about. That's the deeper rooted discrepancy in all of this, right? Because people are saying, the men are saying that you're remixing this or this is incorrect, but you're missing the point. And it's true. I should just use the word polyamory. However, I was using polygyny up until that video, and then I should have just said polyamory in the video. So that's where some of the discrepancy was on my part. But not needless to say, if you're going to practice spiritual polygamy in our community, you need to also be able to not possess your wives, because we actually practice a life system based on natural law. We do not practice any life system that is according to an orthodox religion, okay? So there's a community out there for everyone, right? This doesn't have to be for you. This could be incorrect for you if you're meant to practice some type of orthodox form of religion or some other community, right? So just go about your day and do that, okay? So basically, we have to look at the spiritual polygamy, which requires understanding and application of natural law. This means that you cannot just desire polygamy and then execute a successful polygamous marriage. You must evolve spiritually. And it has to be centered on the creator. There needs to be some education process. There needs to be a community and life system attached to what you're doing, right? Because who is holding you accountable and your family accountable if you all are practicing this? You can't practice it as individuals. It's going to fail. Because polygamy, that is the complete opposite of what it's designed for. Polygamy is designed for community constructing. It is not designed for a man to have multiple wives. That's not why it's designed. Okay, so now we need to go to the basics. So so where's the discrepancy and the misunderstanding of how I'm viewing this? And someone who may have grown into a culture that is very individualistic and have toxic views on monogamy, trying to transition into polygamy. So we have this sex value table. And if you look on here, what this means is the level of validation that you have towards the opposite sex will determine your orgasmic capabilities. Now, why is this important, right? Because in the West, it's actually backwards. We prioritize this the least, but it should be first, meaning that your orgasmic profile determines every aspect of your life, including finances, including education, including your partnerships, including everything it is about you. Rather, you're even living according to who you actually are supposed to be, or you're living something counterfeit. That's how powerful and important this is. And that's how we live our life system. We live it on indigenous culture, indigenous practices, that its origins, and then based on natural law, right? So that's how we live, right? If you want to live differently, then that's what you want to do. You have free will. Okay? So basically this is saying, if we look on the chart, you have to be able to have an acknowledgement, acceptance, approval, affection, admiration for women. And then this would mean that you don't possess them, and you don't look at them in a diseased way. You look at women and the divine feminine the way that is appropriate. So then that way you can attract actually constructing a spiritual polygamous marriage. So this ultimately means, in order to not possess women, you have to have your predisposition towards women, especially women who look like you, appropriate. And then the feelings that you hold in your heart towards women who look like you will also determine this as well. The second hindrance, or the second thing that we need to focus on that can prevent you from having a successful polygamous marriage is the concept of the pain body. So again, this is a part of our life system. There's two versions of who you are. There's the actual version of you, who you were born, right? That's in your DNA. And then there's a counterfeit version of you that is created from your environment, your construct of your upbringing. And this is actually a part of the human experience, right? You all heard of the duality of man, right? So we have a godlike nature and a devil nature, right? We have the godlike nature or animal nature, your ego and who you are, your soul, right? So that's what that is, okay? So it's that like concept, and you're fighting that because ultimately that's what's there to sabotage that for you. That's what's gonna be holding you back from being fully in alignment with who you naturally are supposed to be, the highest and greatest version of your masculine self. You know, this is what's meant to sabotage that, okay? So you have to fight that. That's your number one person you're in the ring with. Okay, so Tantra can help you align with who you truly are. There is 5 different structures, and I can help you identify those. If you book with me, that is something I can do. So it's an actual structure. And Tantra can help you minimize that so that it's in the back seat and your soul is in the driver's seat, right? Okay, so you have to begin with aligning with yourself and your own purpose. So then that way you can attract your wives and then help them with their purposes. And then that's how they will not possess you. You see how this works? It's all like cohesive in a community center, but you have to start with you, right? You have to be living in alignment with your purpose and who you are. That's why it's purpose. You shouldn't be chasing money. Like, money is not going to get you a successful spiritual polygamous marriage. You should be chasing purpose. If you're chasing your purpose and you're in alignment with yourself, then that's how you can attract poly women. Okay. So that's that concept. Now I'm gonna do a short Tantra demo so that I can give you more information about how this actually works and what it is. For the Tantra demo, I have my husband here that I am going to be using to help demonstrate this Tantra session and how this can help you align with your purpose. And this is what's going to help you not possess your wives. Now, a good example of this is my husband. A part of my purpose in life is to help men evolve spiritually through the art of Tantra, right? I wouldn't even be able to live in my purpose had not my husband possessed me. Like, he couldn't even, if he possessed me, he would sabotage that, or he wouldn't even want a wife to do that, right? To help men grow and spiritually evolve in the world that help the massive collective of masculinity on this planet. So thank you, my love, for being here, showing the men how to do it. All right. You want to say anything?
I'm just happy to be here.
Okay. All right, let's get started. The point of your Tantra session is to experience pleasure. By experiencing pleasure, you can become more in alignment with who you actually are, the highest and greatest version of your masculine self. To explain this concept, we need to understand that humans have 4 bodies. When you're getting Tantra done on you, you're experiencing blockage removal and healing and orgasms on these higher aspects of who you are. You have the physical, cellular, flesh body. On top of that, you have the energy body. That's where your pain body is. That's the construct. The energy body or the auric field. So through that energy body, we can go through the chakras and we can remove blockages. On top of that, we have the light body. So we can focus on healing with the light body. And then on top of that, we have the quantum body. So the quantum body is your soul. So we can align you with who you are. In conclusion, polygamy is not meant to be a one man's big boy monopoly sports game. Meaning, if you're trying to do everything for your wives with no brotherhood or community with other men who practice polygamy, you're doing it wrong. And again, this is only for people in my tribe, okay? I don't speak for other communities. We engage in polygamous family structures to form a community. The mission is community. It's not for one individual, lustful desires or ego-driven desires. So lastly, I just want to say, let's end out with that key point again. The mission is community and spiritual evolution for each individual in the polygamous marriage. Your wives have souls and they have purposes just like you, and you all are meant to help each other live in alignment with your purpose. The mission is not getting multiple wives. I do Tantra on men for a living. I am a Tantra practitioner. Right now, I'm doing virtual sessions that are available. I do not do Tantra on all men because of medical reasons, and sometimes it's not best fit. Still, reach out to me if you are not sure if this is the best service for you that I offer, or spiritual guidance, because I am an oracle. So I can do either or both. So reach out to me and let me know. If you have any questions or any dialogue on anything that I talked about with spiritual polygamy and the actual deeper meaning behind this, put them in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.